couple months ago, I picked up quite possibly the cheapest A6000 that you could find in good working condition for $200 US. Now let me browsing Craigslist, as you know, is a horrible problem, so I bring you my latest find, the Sony A7 Mark II. I found this A7 Mark II at the beginning of 2019 for $600 US, including a Leica M and a Canon lens adapter, 2 batteries, and an external charger. This particular A7 Mark II had under 800 actuations and was still on firmware 1.21, and as per the previous owner, he had bought it and put it on his shelf for a majority of the life of the camera. This video will be my overview on the Sony A7 Mark II in 2019 and why even if you have an A7 Mark III, you might possibly want to get yourself an A7 Mark II. So the A7 Mark II has been out since the end of 2014, and when it was released, Sony again pushed the boundaries of what the full-frame camera market should look like. It competed against such cameras like the Nikon D750 and the Canon 5D Mark III and IV. Now what makes the A7 Mark II a great camera even today when the A7 Mark III is out are the following. It's a sub $1,000 camera that gets the user into the full-frame game. If you don't know, full-frame cameras have better dynamic range than APS-C cameras and have no crop when utilizing full-frame glass. It also has IBIS, internal body image stabilization. This allows the user to get better low-light shots without motion blur, and it also, if the user wanted to shoot video, it helps remove most of the hand jitters you see in cameras without. Now performance-wise, how does it compare with the A7 Mark III? I'll make a more detailed comparison down the line, but here's the general summary. The A7 Mark III has better low-light performance in both video and photography due to the new sensor. The A7 Mark II does not have 4K in-body video and only features 1080p up to 60 FPS, whereas the A7 Mark III does have 4K in body at 30 frames per second and also has 1080p up to 120 frames per second, allowing the user to film sexy B-roll content, which is all of YouTube now. The A7 Mark III has better autofocus, however I found that the A7 Mark II was still decent, and there were never moments where I missed shots completely that I wanted when using autofocus. The A7 Mark III has significantly better battery life than the A7 Mark II, which uses the same batteries as the A6000. However, two things to note. These batteries are super cheap on Amazon now, and you can buy a lot of them and they'll last you a long time. And I never shot so much that I ran out of power, and that's including shooting many hours of astro time lapses on the A7 Mark II. And from that last note, the A7 Mark II, unlike the A7 Mark III, has the Sony's Play Memory apps just like the A6000, which allows it to download apps and have additional features. Sony has since then announced that the A7 Mark III will receive this feature, this time-lapse feature, by firmware update. However, the only way for people like me who use the A7 Mark III to shoot time lapses right now is to use a physical intervalometer. And like the A6000 before, I hacked this A7 II, so now it has all the free time-lapse apps, and I'll put a link in the description below on how to do this. In conclusion, I was pleasantly surprised by the performance of the A7 Mark II in 2019. In fact, I could go as far as to say that I could sell my A7 Mark III and probably get all the shots and the type of shooting that I need for my photography and filming if I push the A7 Mark II to its limits. If you're able to find one of these for the same price that I picked up mine for, I would definitely say go get it. If you want more information or want to know where you can get these things, you can find links in the description for all the gear I mentioned. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.